In the early summer of 2013, the stage was set for a monumental clash as Chad Dawson prepared to defend his Lineal and WBC Light Heavyweight title against Adonis Stevenson. For Stevenson, this was a golden opportunity, his first shot at a world title. And at 35 years old, it was a pivotal moment that felt like now or never. With a record of 20 wins and just one loss, including an impressive 17 knockouts, Stevenson had recently avenged his own defeat with the stunning knockout of Darnell Boone, showcasing his explosive power. Chad Dawson stood the reigning Lineal Champion of the division. Dawson had carved his legacy while winning his first world title against the undefeated Tomas Adamek, then went on to defeat notable champions like Antonio Tarver and Glenn Johnson twice, before defeating Bernard Hopkins. Since claiming his first world title in 2007, he had fought over 100 rounds, amassing a wealth of experience. Although he was coming off a loss against Andre Ward in a super middleweight bout, he remained the WBC Light Heavyweight Champion, hungry to defend his title. Dawson was widely regarded as a more skilled technician, known as a sharpshooting counterpuncher. However, he often struggled with output, preferring to pick his shots more methodically. In contrast, Stevenson was a power puncher, known to take more chances. Though he spent the majority of his career in the super middleweight division, this led to questions about whether his power would carry north against a larger opponent. The fight kicked off with both fighters eager to establish their jabs. Stevenson was already looking to land his left hand early. It took less than a minute into the bout before Stevenson's left hand struck home. With the clever throwaway jab, Dawson fell for the bait, momentarily freezing him, allowing the cannon left hand to land flush, putting Dawson down and out for the count.
The legs were unsteady, but there was no...
Oh, there is the power! Left hand has won!
He's not going to recover from that. He's gone, his hands are not up.
There's Michael Griffin has stopped it, he had to.
The victory was nothing short of monumental, marking not only the moment Adonis Stevenson claimed his first world title, but also the moment he defeated the Lineal Champion. Truly a case of the man who beat the man. This triumph was a harbinger of what lay ahead, as Stevenson was poised to embark on a remarkable reign over the division, solidifying his position at light heavyweight. For the next 6 years, Stevenson ruled the light heavyweight division with an iron fist, defending his Lineal and WBC titles against all challengers. He tore through his next 8 opponents, finishing 5 of them in spectacular fashion. Among his notable victories were wins over former champion Tavarius Cloud, future world champion Tony Bellew, and a pair of hard-fought wins against a gritty Andres Fonfara. However, Stevenson's reign was not without his share of criticism. Detractors pointed out that he hadn't faced a mandatory since 2013, and there were murmurs of discontent regarding his failure to secure bouts against the division's elite, namely Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward. In the next outing, Stevenson faced off against former super middleweight champion Badou Jack. In a surprising turn of events, the smaller Jack, moving up in weight, showcased his resilience by taking the champion's power, making Stevenson appear immortal. The fight ended in a majority draw, allowing Stevenson to retain his title, but leaving questions lingering about his dominance in the ring. At 41 years old, Stevenson was comfortably entrenched as the champion, having defended his world titles 9 times in Canada with his signature cracking left hook against a series of overmatched opponents. He held the WBC hostage for 6 years, seemingly in no rush to face the current champions, like WBA title holder Dmitry Bivol, IBF champion Artur Beterbiev, or the WBO and Ring Magazine champion Eleider Alvarez, who had just delivered a stunning stoppage victory over Sergey Kovalev. Instead, Stevenson opted to defend his title for the 10th time against WBC's #1 contender, Alexander Vasky. At 31, Vasky was a decade younger than the champion and boasted an impressive record of 12 stoppages in 15 fights, earning him the nickname, The Nail. The Ukrainian prizefighter was a skilled boxer puncher, adept at controlling the pace from the outside with his jab. setting up his powerful right hand to nail punishing blows. This matchup was anticipated as a classic puncher's duel, with both Stevenson and Vasky relying heavily on the jabs and crosses. Stevenson aimed to hammer his devastating left hand, looking to either stop Vasky in his tracks, or at the very least accumulate enough rounds to secure a decision. Meanwhile, Vasky knew that if he could weather the early storm of punishment, he might find an opportunity to rally in the second half of the fight, just as Jack did when Stevenson began to fade. The stage was set for what was about to be a turning point in light heavyweight history.
Метр 80 рост, у Адониса метр 80. Так что на дальней дистанции.
The opening rounds were a showcase of Stevenson's power as he pushed Vasky against the ropes. With remarkable precision, Stevenson quickly found his range, eager to let the challenger experience the full brunt of his power. Vasky, on the other hand, struggled to establish his own rhythm, often falling victim to Stevenson's clever tactics. The champion lured Vasky in, capitalizing on the opportunity to land his hammer in left hand.
Якщо забігати наперед, говорити про 12 раундів,
які смотря на Адониса Стивенсона, ну просто не верится, что этому парню 41 год.
Leaving the challenger on the defensive and searching for answers.
І Олександра Гвоздіка у цьому поєдинку має бути серйозний, проходити праву руку Адоніса і пробивати.
The third round kicked off with a dramatic moment as Vasky sent Stevenson to the canvas, only for the referee to mistakenly rule it a slip.
100% нокдаун.
Seizing the opportunity, Vasky sprang into action, eager to capitalize on what he hoped to be a sign of weakness. However, the champion quickly regained his footing and showcased his resilience, asserting control of the bout once more. With the power and threat of his left hand looming large, Stevenson resumed dictating the pace, reminding everyone why he was the reigning champion.
Спасает блок
Успішного третього раунду.
Vasky made significant adjustments, using his rear hand to block against Stevenson's powerful left hand. This newfound strategy allowed him to remain in a pocket longer, where he could effectively measure the distance and fire his right cross. With each exchange, Vasky grew more confident, finding his rhythm and making the champion work harder for his shots. Vasky began to showcase his footwork, maneuvering to gain the outside angle on Stevenson with his lateral movement. By pivoting to his left, he forced Stevenson to reach with his left cross, effectively neutralizing the champion's most powerful weapon. This tactical shift allowed Vasky to see the dominant position during exchanges, where he could unload his own power shots with confidence.
Буде пробивати. От з цієї дистанції вже не знає, що робити. Удари йдуть повз. Але отак от від себе і від
Александр. Прошло несколько ударов.
Мова не може йти про нокдаун.
Мне вообще не выпадает.
In the sixth round, Vasky added yet another layer to his strategy with a sharp lead jab. Combined with his agile movement, this kept Stevenson off balance and at bay, effectively controlling the range and tempo of the fight. As a result, Stevenson found himself limited to throwing single shots, while Vasky capitalized on the opportunity to string together combinations, showcasing the resurgence of his offense.
Знаєш, мені здається, що отут це тонка крив фехтування від канадця.
Канадец с гаитянским. Этим можно будет воспользоваться. Ну, надеемся на это.
Тут ще треба стуватися. Ми дуже хочемо, щоб знав це Олександр Гвоздік.
The champion was being thoroughly outclassed in the middle rounds. Stevenson had come on strong early on, but was now paying a price. Flat-footed and struggling to keep up, he found himself trailing Vasky, whose feet were constantly in motion. Vasky's offense was multifaceted, incorporating range and angle changes, effective jabs and crosses, and fluid combinations. Stevenson had no choice but to throw wild left hands in a desperate attempt to counter Vasky's elusive movements. The relentless pace was taking a toll on the champion, making it difficult for him to match the younger challenger's output. For every punch Stevenson threw, Vasky responded with 2 or 3 of his own. leaving the Asian champion unable to keep up with the challenger's swift and dynamic movements.
Сам Эммануэль Стюарт, не забываем. Вкладывается Адонис справа.
Stevenson attempted to bring his right hook into play, hoping Vasky would walk right into it. However, Vasky proved too clever for this tactic, slipping right underneath the punch to gain the outside angle and establish a dominant position over Stevenson.
Діє в Олександру. Знову ж таки, українська династія прийшла поболівати за українців.
Александра Гвоздика і повноцінний у Адониса Стівенсона.
Гвоздик, ну і там секунда врятувала Стівенса, ну точніше.
Шел за переднюю руку, ногу и тут же провел двоечку. Быстро и точно.
In the 9th and 10th rounds, Vasky's lateral movement began to falter, giving Stevenson an opportunity to find his timing. Adopting the role of the counterpuncher, Stevenson started to time Vasky as he came in.
Поєдинок Діонтея Уайлдера проти Тайсона Ф'юрі. Спад. 10, 11, 12, глибока.
Even landing a monster left cross that served as a stark reminder that a puncher is always dangerous. Despite the setback, Vasky displayed tremendous heart by finishing the round aggressively, swinging back with determination. The 11th round marked the pivotal moment in the bout. Both fighters, aware of the close nature of the contest, decided to engage in a pocket, with Vasky gaining the upper hand in the exchanges, landing his right cross at will. In those final moments, the stakes of boxing became painfully clear. Each fighter sacrifices a piece of themselves in pursuit of glory, knowing that tomorrow is never guaranteed. Stevenson, who had once knocked out Dawson to claim his title as the Lineal Champion, but 6 years later, he faced a similar fate, symbolizing a passing of the torch. It served as a stark reminder that nothing lasts forever, and when it's over, it's truly over.
Так, лівий боковий став.
After the knockout, Stevenson faced a harrowing ordeal, slipping into a coma for 3 weeks due to severe traumatic injuries. Yet, by the grace of God, he recovered and was granted another chance at life. Vasky ended Stevenson's reign, emerging as the new Lineal and WBC Light Heavyweight Champion. However, fate has a peculiar way of repeating itself, and it won't be long before Vasky will come to understand the twist of his own destiny.
Mouthpiece. Okay, give a specific detailed instruction in the locker room, my guys. Obey my commands at all times. Touch, close, bang at the bell. God bless you.